Hi Gemini, and welcome to your horoscope for February 2025. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. My horoscopes are based on the UK time zone, and please watch them in this order: rising sign first, then your sun sign, and finally your moon sign. I'm going to break down February into 4 weeks, and I'm going to see how the moon moves through your chart and how it will support you and in what areas and on what days. February is a great month for stargazers. We have something called a planetary parade happening. There's 6 planets which have lined up perfectly to create this straight line up in the sky. And then at the end of February, Mercury joins that planetary parade. So we have 7 planets lined up. And astrology is based on the notion that as above, so below. What happens in the sky influences us down here on planet Earth. So the fact that we have this planetary parade, one, means that it's time to celebrate, but also the straight line means that you're able to see the end goal, the long-term goal that you're trying to move towards. You're able to overcome obstacles much more easily than you usually would, and you're really able to make plans for the future and stick to them. Week 1, Saturday the 1st until Sunday the 9th of February. On the 1st, we have the moon in Pisces, and that's in your 10th house of career. So just watch out for that, because when it comes to any negotiations or discussions around your work, you may volunteer to take on stuff free of charge and to overload yourself because you're too giving, you're too willing to volunteer. So just make sure anything like that you go into it objectively and you see whether this is something that would create a balanced kind of environment for you in your working life. Then on the 2nd and 3rd, the moon moves into Aries and it goes into your 11th house of hopes and dreams, and it joins the asteroid Chiron, which is known as the wounded healer. And both of those sit in your 11th house. And the focus on the 2nd and 3rd of February is going to be any hopes and dreams that you've had for your life that haven't worked out. It's likely that the disappointment of that raises its head and reappears to you. And the opportunity you have during this 2-day period is to heal this, to either let go of those disappointments, or to say, I am now in a better place, I'm going to try again. And if I still have the desire to realize a certain hope and dream, or to have a particular experience, I'm now going to revisit that, and I'm going to approach it in a different way, looking back on what I learned in the past, and I'm going to avoid doing it that way, so I ensure that I get what it is I want. And again, that planetary parade will really help you to set goals that actually are conducive to you getting what you want. On the 4th, 5th, and 6th, the moon goes into Taurus and it moves into your 12th house of spirituality and spiritual strength, and it sits near Uranus, the planet of the miraculous and unexpected, which is also in Taurus. So that's really interesting, Gemini, because you may receive a sign or a confirmation of something that you've been considering through some sort of a sign out there in the world. It could be a cloud that shows you something, or you read something on a bumper sticker that confirms something you've been questioning, or you get something that you overhear and it gives you an answer to something that's been unclear for you, but it's miraculous, and it's almost like the outside world conspires to give you an answer that you haven't been 100% on. Venus, the planet of love and beauty and creativity, that ingresses into Aries on the 4th of February, and it moves into your 11th house of hopes and dreams. And again, it's really the message that, Gemini, try again. If something hasn't worked in the past, it doesn't mean that it's not going to work in future. Please have another go. It's worth pursuing if you care about it. Also on the 4th of February, we have Jupiter, the lucky planet, that goes direct until the 11th of November. And when a planet is retrograde, the influence is expressed inwardly. When it's direct, the influence is expressed outwardly. And Jupiter is in your sign of Gemini, and it's in your first house of self. So that's amazing because that gives you such a great sense of optimism. Jupiter is the great benefic. It's about growth, prosperity, good fortune. And it's at 11 degrees in Gemini in your first house of self. So not only are you willing to revisit past disappointments, but you're now genuinely supported in trying again and getting a miraculous outcome that you've been aiming for. It also means that you're able to problem solve, both inner problems and outer problems. It means that you're able to communicate very well and to reach a great number of people. And it also means that you're able to problem solve and find a different way forward if some sort of a door has closed in your life. Rather than giving up, you'll find an alternative which allows you to get to where you want to be. So this is really positive for you, Gemini. So expect February to be a really lucky month. Also, we have Mercury and Venus direct all month. So expect almost no problems when it comes to communication or transportation. And also feel free to start new businesses, new relationships. If your hopes and dreams are around that, throw yourself into those new connections 100% and expect a good outcome, even if you have been disappointed in the past. On the 7th and 8th of February, the moon again goes into your sign of Gemini and it joins Jupiter in your first house. So expect a great sense of well-being there, but also almost expect a message to come in, not necessarily from the outer world. It could be from your intuition. And I'm just getting the message. It could be from your external environment, but it could also come from within, from your dreams that says, hey, maybe try this. It's definitely going to have a positive impact on your life, and it may allow you to realize one of your biggest hopes and dreams for your own life, whether that's career related or relationship or family or whatever it may be. You'll get a lot of messages this month, Gemini, that encourage you to try again and that miracles are possible for you. On the 9th, the moon goes into Cancer and it goes into your second house of money, and also it stays in Cancer in week 2 on the 10th, and it joins Hades and Mars, which are in Cancer in your second house. So those 2 days are great for you to take care of anything that requires your attention when it comes to finances, savings, your assets, your practical circumstances, particularly around money. So if anything crops up in that sector of life, try and resolve those things on the 9th and 10th of February. So in the first 9 days of the month, the moon started in your 10th house of work and it ends up in your second house of money. And that's the left-hand side of your chart. It's the 4th quadrant, houses 10, 11, 12, and then houses 1 and 2. So I think the first 9 days of February for you are the important thing, not to be too giving when it comes to your work, to revisit your hopes and dreams, to believe that miracles are possible, and then to take care of practical circumstances towards the end of the first 9 days. Week 2, Monday to Sunday, the 10th to 16th of February. On the 10th, the moon is still in Cancer, so still able to sort out any financial stuff that needs taking care of. On the 11th and 12th, the moon moves into Leo, and it goes into your 3rd house of communication, which in the traditional astrology chart is your house, right? So the moon in Leo gives you great confidence. And if you need to do any public speaking or presentations, or you need to pitch yourself or to promote yourself in any way, the 11th and 12th are really helpful for that. Particularly the 12th of February, when we have a full moon in Leo and you're showered with this Leo energy. So even if you're worried about public speaking or it fills you with anxiety or dread, you may even enjoy those kind of things around the 11th and 12th. And again, if you have the luxury of scheduling things in, any public appearance, try and do it on those 2 days. The moon then moves on into Virgo on the 13th, 14th, and 15th. And it sits in your 4th house of your family and your roots and what makes you feel like you belong. And Virgo is ruled by Mercury, the communication planet, and it's very much about creating meaning for yourself, analyzing the situation and coming up with an answer for yourself. And Virgo can often be associated with the nurse. So in that 4th house, over this 3-day period, you'll realize what makes you feel secure and safe and like you belong in life and what doesn't. Whether that's via assets, the house you live in, or whether it's the people in your inner circle or family members. And you'll really be able to differentiate between what works for you and what does not. Whether you do something about that immediately, I'm not sure. I think it's more about understanding like what is healthful and helpful to you and what isn't. On the 14th, we have Mercury, your ruler, ingressing into Pisces. And it goes into your 10th house of work. So again, the whole month for you, Gemini, don't be overly willing to overextend yourself when it comes to your career, your job. It's not something that's going to pay off. And it may be something that puts too much pressure on you, which means that you could burn yourself out or just become overwhelmed. The 14th as well, we have Valentine's Day. And on the 14th, the moon is in your 14th. So if you're single and dating, that's actually a great, Valentine's Day is a bit weird to go on a first date. It puts a bit of extra pressure on. But if you do go on a date on the 14th, Virgo will immediately allow you to assess the vibe that you have, the dynamic between you and that other person, and whether it's going to work or not. On the 16th, the moon goes into Libra in your 5th house of what you love to do work-wise and also what you love romantically, as in who I love. And it also stays in Libra on the 17th, moving into week 3. So those 2 days, the 16th and 17th, that's actually much better for dating because the pressure is off, as in Valentine's Day is gone. And Libra is about making connections. So you'll be able to show up as your true authentic self, likely to be cheerful and optimistic and communicative. It's unlikely that if you're meeting a new person that there are awkward silences or anything like that. And then on the 16th of February, Venus, the planet of love and beauty, that's going to be at its brightest. So the 16th and 17th are great days to present yourself, not to companies and organizations, but in a personal way to potential new partners, new romantic relationships. So again, if you can schedule it in around the 16th, 17th, that would be ideal. Then moving into week 3, Monday to Sunday, the 17th until the 23rd of February. Moon is still in Libra on the 17th. Then it goes into Scorpio in your 6th house on the 18th, 19th, and 20th. And it joins Juno and Vesta, which are also in Scorpio in that 6th house. So the 6th house are the structures of your life, your physical body, your physical health. And Scorpio is about getting to the root cause of things. So if there's something that's unhealed as far as your physical body is concerned, you may discover the spiritual cause for that ailment. But also if you have experienced something in your body that you're not satisfied with, you will be able to discover what the root cause of that is. So for instance, if you feel like, I'm not fit enough, and this is a little too obvious, excuse me, but if you notice that, hey, I'm not very fit and resilient, then the answer will be it's because you don't do enough exercise. But obviously, it's not going to be something that is that, straightforward. There may be a more complicated cause of something that you're experiencing, and no matter how complex and hidden, you'll be able to get the answer so that you're able to resolve that and let go of that issue, that problem. On the 18th as well, the sun goes into Pisces and it moves into your 10th house of work as well. So your identity in Pisces is very forgiving, it's very loving. Same thing that I said before, don't overextend yourself when it comes to your job. If your boss says, hey, who wants to stay an extra 3 hours and do overtime without pay, then don't put up your hand. Try and keep it reasonable as far as your work is concerned. On the 21st and 22nd, the moon goes into Sagittarius and it goes into your 7th house of relationships. So again, those 2 days are good to make new connections, whether it's friends or new romantic partnerships or anything like connecting with new colleagues or expanding your social network. You will really, really enjoy being around other people, and it's a 2-day period where it can recharge you by being around new people, and what you learn and the energy that you receive from those other people could really empower you. On the 23rd, the moon goes into Capricorn, and again, it stays in Capricorn in week 4 on the 24th and 25th. And it goes into your 8th house of institutions and authorities. So for you, that's a great time to do any paperwork, to deal with bureaucracy, red tape, and to get those things done very, very quickly without the usual, difficulties that you may experience. So if you're someone who hates filling out forms, or who really struggles to complete 5-page business plans, or that's the kind of thing that makes you feel anxious, or you tend to procrastinate on it or put off, the 23rd, 24th, and 25th are the best days in February for you to deal with those kind of things and to feel no anxiety or there's no sense I'm being tortured by this. I can just do it, I can work on it and get it done and dusted and completed, and off we go. On the 23rd as well, Mars, the planet of ambition and drive, that goes direct for the rest of the year, and that is great news because Mars has been in retrograde for a long time, since the 6th of December last year until the 23rd of February here in 2025. So it's almost 3 months, and Mars is responsible for ambition and power and the willingness to fight to get what you want and to not compromise. It's in Cancer in your 2nd house of money. So from now on, it's going to be much easier for you to stay on top of your finances and to take care of your financial circumstances so that they benefit you and they're not being ignored. So if there's something like, for instance, if a credit card has just crept up and you haven't really noticed, with Mars going direct on the 23rd, you'll be able to take care of those things so that they don't get out of hand. So in week 3, the houses that the moon covered, it started on the 17th in your 5th house of romance and love, and it ended up on the 23rd in your 8th house. So that's the right-hand side of your chart. So it's very much about, what don't I have in my life right now that I want to bring into my life? The beginning of week 3, it's really about love and people and romance. Then more health and more healthy habits. And then by the end of the week, it's really about what haven't I completed obligation-wise, paperwork-wise, and I can do that now and get it done. Week 4, Monday to Friday, the 24th of February until the 28th of February. Moon still in Capricorn on the 24th and 25th, so bureaucracy, paperwork. Then on the 26th, the moon goes into Aquarius, and that joins Pluto and Pallas, and you're transiting midheaven in your 9th house of education, travel, and the higher realms. So if you find that you're curious about a new area of study, or some sort of information comes in on the 26th, pay attention to that. It's likely to serve you as far as it resolves some sort of a problem, or it could be information that's really helpful to your work and your career moving forwards. On the 27th and 28th, we have the moon then going into Pisces, and there's a new moon in Pisces happening in your 10th house of career on the 27th. And I'll make separate videos on the full moons and the new moons. But this new moon is going to pull a ton of Pisces energy into your 10th house. And rather than being overly giving and being overly willing to take on responsibilities that you don't benefit from, this new moon in Pisces will show you the ideal career that you could do on your own. So if you're a Gemini who's thought of making yourself self-employed, that new moon in Pisces is going to offer you information which is really priceless, as far as not just a side gig, but this is what I could do on my own, where I'm not taken advantage of, that would pay the bills, but that would also be super meaningful and fulfilling as far as my own life is concerned. And I know I'm going into March here now, but on the 1st of March, we have Venus going retrograde until the 12th of April. And when that happens, it's not a good time to start new relationships or to start new businesses. So do both of those things here in February for a really good outcome and a good result. So that's what I get for you here in February 2025. I hope that gives you an idea of what you'll be working with. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. To draw up your natal chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, I can use sunrise, or you can order a chart rectification with me, which is a process where you send me 10 or more significant life events, and I actually work out your time of birth. So if you'd like to have me look at your natal chart to see what your strengths and weaknesses are, what's your perfect career, what's coming up in future, where the best places to live would be, anything at all, please do get in touch for a personal reading. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please. That helps it show up in searches. Subscribe for more videos in future. And please also share this video with anyone you think may like it and may benefit from the information. I hope you have a wonderful February, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best.